problem, reaction, solution. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book, yet continues to fool millions of Australians and people around the world each and every single year, especially on topics that we've seen repeated during news cycles over the last decade. G'day everyone, Ethan Nash from tottnews.com here, back with another video. And in this video, we're going to be debuting a new series here on our YouTube channel. It's called Newsfix. And what this is going to entail is just a quick, short analysis off the cuff, chatting about some of the most recent news stories that have developed over the last 30-day period. And what this will include is articles, features, videos, current news stories that aren't necessarily covered on the website, or primarily articles that we've shared for deeper discussion. We want to give more of an analysis, more of a thought on what has been happening in current news cycles. And if you have been paying attention to the news, well, the biggest thing that has come out of the mainstream press in the last few weeks has been the coronavirus. And surprise, surprise, just as we predicted, the Australian coronavirus vaccine has now gone into test production. Now, this was on February 21st, 2020, as you can see here by the Sydney Morning Herald. And we've spoken about this a little bit over the past couple of months since the coronavirus come out of nowhere. What does it mean? What does it signify? Is it real? Is it something we should be worried about? And myself, Real News Australia, various platforms have expressed the notion that this is just the Hegelian dialectic at play once again here, folks. A big scare campaign to further lead to profits within the vaccine industry and to bolster the pockets of big pharma into the future. And just as we predicted, now there is a vaccine that is prepared to be rolled out. So what is all this fear campaign? Well, let's have a look here. Quote, a factory in Melbourne has started producing a test dose of a potential coronavirus vaccine, which scientists will begin testing on animals this week. So right as we speak now, folks, they are testing this virus on animals. But no one's mentioning the fact that more people die due to coconuts falling on their head each year. It continues here, the test vaccine was developed in just 6 weeks by University of Queensland researchers using world-first molecular clamp technology invented in Australia. We have a nice little photo there of the doctors in the vaccine manufacturing plant in Clayton. So this is very interesting. A vaccine is already being developed to combat something that really hasn't even become a pandemic yet. And this is something that we see each and every time. And it's also important to note the University of Queensland, who are a part of these trials, they actually work in partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to help produce vaccines all across the world. So it's no surprise that this is coming from that university. And just as we've seen all over the news, it's time to be afraid, folks, because the evil bad boogeyman, the coronavirus, is coming to get you. Just like Zika, just like swine flu, just like Ebola, just like all of these supposedly dangerous pandemics, another vaccine is out to save us all from them. And we've also seen this in the United States, that a study is also about to begin to treat novel coronavirus. So across the world, this was posted a couple of days ago, so across the world, people, we can see that this is beginning to start to roll out. And this is all the scare campaigns are for. There is no virus that's going to take out the entire world. There is no massive pandemic that threatens the safety of us all. This is just another sales boost for the vaccine industry. And I wanted to highlight this article here. This was from CNBC over in the United States. Coronavirus highlights the $35 billion vaccine market. Yes, folks, vaccines are a business. And this is a distraction to get you to go and get your vaccines, as is the case with most so-called pandemic scares. So we head down here, it says the vaccine market has grown sixfold over the past 2 decades, worth more than $35 billion today. The firm said the industry has consolidated to 4 big players that account for about 85% of the market. And you can also see the list of the big 4 pharmaceutical giants that are a part of that. And this is the most interesting part here. For every dollar that is invested in vaccination in the world's 94 lowest income countries, the net return is $44. So we see here that it's a profitable business. It's grown 6-fold in the past 2 decades. And what has happened in the last 2 decades? We have had dozens of scare campaigns about viruses that are going to supposedly kill us. But what we're seeing here, folks, is it's just problem, reaction, solution, the Hegelian dialectic at play once again. Garner the reaction from the people, and then offer the solution, which always is the vaccine. And why are they doing this, folks? Well, coronavirus come along at a perfect time to distract us from the continuing aftermath of the Australian bushfires. And this is where I want to talk about a couple of other stories that have emerged in the last couple of weeks. This one, again, from the Sydney Morning Herald. Do not drink. The New South Wales town with no tap water for 4 months, February 23rd, 2020. So while the whole country is worried about coronavirus, and it's the only thing that you can see on your mainstream sets at home, what we are seeing here behind the scenes and on the ground in regional Australia is the continued destabilisation of conditions in preparation for smart cities and smart train technology. So this article starts off with a personal story, but essentially the 2,743 residents of Uralla near Armidale in the New South Wales Northern Tablelands, not too far from where I was born, have been told there is increased level of arsenic detected in what remained of the town's water supply, which comes from Kentucky Dam. And this is after enduring months of drought and hazardous smokes from nearby bushfires. So this is just one example of a town where they've been told that they can't drink their water supplies until mid-April. So what is this going to do? This is going to force Australians to leave their lands, to pack up, and to head to more populated areas to start their new lives. And this is all part of the smart city agenda. And again, we've done videos about this on our YouTube channel, but this is still happening, folks. This hasn't just gone away because the coronavirus has suddenly appeared. Australians are still hurting on the ground, and we are being intentionally distracted. And if you don't believe me, let's have a look at realestate.com.au now. Australia's cheapest houses currently for sale, properties for under $35,000. Well, would you believe, and again, this come out on the 7th of February, would you believe that many of these are bushfire damaged houses currently available on realestate.com.au? Have a look at this one. $18,000 for the entire property. This is a family which has been impacted by fires who, for whatever reason, it could be the council's regulations and fees, it could be building practices, it could be whatever mechanism has been established to prevent them from rebuilding their houses, or it could be the simple fact that they can't afford to do it, as most Australians living week to week would be in a tough position to do so as well. The aftermath of the Australian bushfire crisis is continuing, and most Australians have no idea about it. Which leads me to the last article I wanted to highlight, and this is one from tottnews.com. And this is a new one called Clara's High-Speed Rail, the Full Story. So if you want to understand what's currently happening with the high-speed rail plan and get the backstory on Australia's high-speed vision and the Clara Consortium, this was published on February 20th. Our continued bushfire aftermath coverage available only at tottnews.com. And you can have a read through this to see just what's happening here in Australia in the aftermath and what was planned for years in anticipation for the Australian bushfire crisis. And if you head down, we also give an update on what's currently underway, and we can see correlations between cities that have been burnt and where cities are going to be presented for the Smart Rail Connective. So lots of info there at tottnews.com, folks. But for the month of February, I think we will wrap it up there for Newsfix. As I said, this is a new series where we're just going to have a look at a few news articles that have made headlines over the last month. Might even throw in a couple of tottnews.com articles there to join. But as you can see on your screen, we're always publishing content on the website, so make sure to check in at tottnews.com for more information. We've got a little update there, as you can see, about what's to come for the year ahead. Lots of exciting content on the way for both the public and paying audiences of the website. And I thank you all for your continued support. But for February 2020, we will wrap it up here, the first edition of Newsfix. And until next time, you all take care of yourselves.